Hello, America. Welcome back to Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvan. I'm TV's Dave Galvan, and I am here to give you travel recommendations, hacks, ideas in 10 minutes or less. So let's get started. Today's topic is underrated places to go in Italy. All right, so let's talk about Italy because just about everyone who travels there ends up visiting the same three places. They go to Rome, which I went to, and Florence and Venice. Now, it has to be clear, those destinations are, absolutely incredible if you kind of stay out of the more touristy areas. I'm not here to pretend they aren't worth your time. However, I am here to tell you that some of the best experiences you can have in Italy happen in places that most tourists completely overlook. The problem is that most travelers treat Italy like a checklist where they try to hit every major landmark as quickly as possible. They run to the Colosseum, then they visit the Vatican, they grab a gelato, and then they move on to the next step without ever really slowing down. The real magic of Italy, though, doesn't come from checking boxes. It comes from taking your time and actually experiencing the place. That's exactly what these lesser-known destinations force you to do. So let's start with Bologna, which might be one of the most underrated cities in the entire country. Unlike some of the more famous destinations, Bologna doesn't try to impress you with over-the-top attractions and giant tourist crowds. Instead, it quietly delivers some of the best food you're going to have anywhere in the country, along with a more authentic local atmosphere that feels refreshingly real. This is where the traditional local cuisine actually comes from. And once you try it there, it will completely ruin the version you thought you knew. On top of that, you're not constantly fighting through crowds, which makes the entire experience more enjoyable. Now let's talk about Matera, which honestly feels like something out of a movie. This city is built directly into stone caves with homes, churches, and streets carved into rock. It's one of the oldest continuously inhabited places on the planet, and yet it still gets skipped by a huge number of travelers simply because it isn't on the typical tourist route. When you walk through Matera, it doesn't feel like a normal city. It feels like you've stepped back into time, and that's what makes it totally unforgettable. If you love the idea of Tuscany, but don't love the crowds that come with it, then you need to look at the Piedmont region. This area offers the same kind of rolling hills, vineyards, and incredible scenery, but with far fewer tourists and much more relaxed atmosphere. It's also one of the best food and wine regions in the country, known for things like truffles and world-class wines such as Barolo. I'm not really great with the pronunciation. Barolo. In many ways, it feels like a more refined and less commercialized version of Tuscany, which makes it perfect for travelers who want something a little bit more authentic. Now, if you're looking for something completely different, the Dolomites are going to surprise you. When most people think of Italy, they picture historic cities and coastal views. But the Dolomites offer dramatic mountain landscapes that rival anything you'll find in the Alps. You've got towering peaks, crystal clear lakes, and endless opportunities for hiking and skiing, depending on the time of year, of course. It's easily one of the most visually stunning regions in Europe, yet it remains relatively under the radar compared to Italy's more famous destinations. And finally, if you're dreaming of beautiful beaches but want to avoid the chaos of the Amalfi Coast, Sardinia is the place to go. While Amalfi is undeniably stunning, it can also get very crowded, it's very expensive, and a bit overwhelming at times. Sardinia, on the other hand, offers equally beautiful, if not better, beaches with clearer water and far fewer people. It's a favorite actually amongst Italians themselves, which is usually a pretty strong sign that you're making the right choice. If you step back and look at all these places, there's a clear pattern. The best experiences tend to happen in destinations that aren't entirely built around tourism. Once a place becomes too popular, the prices go up, the crowds get, and the overall experience starts to change. That doesn't mean you should skip the famous spots altogether, but it does mean you should balance them with places that feel more authentic. So here's a smart decision if you want to plan a trip to Italy. Combine one major destination with one lesser known location. For example, you could pair Rome with Bologna. Florence with Piedmont, or Naples with Mattora. Me trying to pronounce this stuff is really funny. This way, you get the iconic highlights while also experiencing the side of Italy that most people will not see. And at the end of the day, Italy is about so much more than just the landmarks. It's about the food. The food is so good. The atmosphere, the landscapes, and the way it makes you slow down and actually enjoy where you are. The places the tourists skip are often the ones that leave the biggest impressions, simply because they feel more real. So if you're planning a trip, don't just follow the standard itinerary. Go somewhere that surprises you, okay? Because those are the moments you're going to actually remember long after the trip is over. And if you need help putting this all together and things that mix iconic with the unexpected, that's what I do. So give me a call. Timeforyourvacation.com. Thank you very much. This has been Travel Secrets with TV's Dave Galvan. I am your host, Dave Galvan. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.